All right, good evening and welcome to the January 2026 meeting of the Hickory City Council. At this time, I would like to ask Senior Pastor Aaron Williams Rubel from St. Luke's United Methodist Church to approach the podium, and she'll be delivering our invocation this evening. I think you've been here since what, July now? Is that right? Almost. We're working on a year here, so we want to thank you for being here this evening to give our invocation. I would ask the audience, if you're able, please to stand and remain standing after the invocation for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right?
Thank you. Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we are so grateful for this day and for this place, for the citizens of this community and those who lead us. You tell us in the book of Jeremiah to pray for the welfare of the city in which we live. And so, God, we come to do that, to seek your will, to follow your will, and to do what is in the best interest of our neighbors, those we like and maybe those we dislike, those with whom we agree and those with whom we disagree. You have put us in this place for a purpose. And God, we pray that we would be diligent in seeking your wisdom and your truth in all things. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, before we get started with the official agenda this evening, I would like to ask everyone to remind you to silence any electronic devices you may have. I remembered to do mine prior to saying that. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome some guests, some very special guests from Conover that are with us this evening. Of course, Mayor Kyle Heyman is with us. Councilman Mark Carr Roberts with us, and also their city manager, Tom Hart, is with us here this evening and joining our meeting. So I would like to welcome them to our meeting this evening as well. So thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Of course, everyone here is a special guest, and we always invite everyone to come and join and be a part of our city council meetings. We're going to get started this morning, or this afternoon, this afternoon with a couple special presentations. We have, the city of Hickory has been awarded two special awards. So at this time, I would like to call our budget analyst, Mr. Matt Dellinger, and also our finance director, Mrs. Carrie Dunlap, to the front of the room. We have two special awards to be presented. Actually, we only have one. The one is here. The other one hasn't quite made it here yet, is my understanding. So this is the presentation of the Triple Crown Award. This award recognizes governments who have received a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, Popular Annual Financial Report Award, and the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award are the two awards that we've been one of them's on the way, like I said. But this one, we have the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award we have here. The Distinguished Budget Award for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024. This is the 13th consecutive year that the city has received this recognition. Is that correct? Oh, I'm sorry, it does say 30. 30 years. Yeah, gracious. Presented to Budget Analyst Matt Dellinger, and also the presentation of the Comprehensive Financial Report Award. That's the one we don't have in hand yet, but we know that it's on the way, so it's safe to say, and this is the 29th. So one's 29 and 130. How are we behind you?
The budget's before the fiscal year is over, and then ACRA comes, a year after the fiscal year.
Okay, so it's the 29th year, consecutive year that we received that recognition, so it'll be coming forthwith. So I guess I'll give this one to Matt. And we certainly do appreciate all the work that our finance department does, and I know that the citizens Greatly appreciate that as well. We have to have a balanced budget every year, unlike some other government entities that I won't mention. How's that? All right. And would either of you like to say anything?
Thank you to all the departments that contribute to making our financials.
It takes everybody to participate. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. We appreciate it. All right. Okay, next item on the agenda is item number 5. It is persons requesting to be heard at each council meeting.
We got
We got another one?
4B.
Oh, the beautification. Recognition of the annual beautification awards. Okay, well, at this time, I'll call upon our Community Appearance Commission Chair, Lynn Sampson, Vice Chair Bruce Hooker, and Past Chair Cliff Moon.
Thank you. And last week, we presented our Community Appearance Commission Beautification Awards for our annual awards. We also have a Hickory and Bloom program that we are very aggressively promoting as we go forward, and also expanding our Litter Quitter program. One of the things that was unique this year is that we changed the venue from City Hall to the Schufert House. And we felt that being the beautification appearance commission, that we have some beautiful assets that the city owns. And as we engage the community in beautifying our community, we felt it was appropriate to hold our award ceremony in one of those beautiful assets. And it was received extremely well. We had over 30 people come, where the award ceremony usually only lasts about a half hour. We were shooing people out of the house at 8 o'clock. So it was a wonderful evening. We really appreciate Ms. Patton coming and lending her support, as well as the media representatives from the city. I'd like to share with you the awards. They were presented to individuals and groups in each of 8 categories that we felt by a certain defined criteria that went above and beyond beautifying their property's outward look. And we feel this is important because we feel it results in an improvement of the quality of life in each of these neighborhoods. The first award was for residential landscape that was professionally installed and maintained, and that was awarded to Grady and Selena Shue, who are located at 1405 6th Street Circle Northwest. And then we had an award for residential landscape that was non-professionally installed and or maintained. And that was to Mr. and Mrs. Ander and Carol Ann Horn, 522 2nd Avenue Northwest. The Residential Renovation and or Restoration Award was presented to Jeffrey Davidson. Bruce Hooker was not able to attend, and their residence is at 704 2nd Avenue Southeast. The non-residential landscape award was given to the Bentley Salon, and that is at 509 1st Avenue Southwest. And then we had a non-residential renovation or restoration. This was particularly interesting, was North Hickory Market on 1079 3rd Avenue Drive Northwest. That's in our new Arts Walk area. The Litter Quitter Award was given to John Jonkoff. And then we had the program that I mentioned earlier, Hickory and Bloom Recognition Program. We do this all through the spring, early fall, awarding different people who are doing just really beautiful jobs with their landscaping. We do that every month and post those properties on the city website. And then we review at the end of the year and recognize what we think are some of the best of those that we have reviewed. Jane McCall, who lives at 327 9th Street Northwest, and Russell and Julia Stewart at 361 5th Street Northwest were recognized for their Hickory in Bloom efforts. This year, we did a special award, which was the Hickory Foundation YMCA. And that pretty much closed our rewards for this year. And hopefully next year we'll be able to present some of the winners on screen for you, as they were absolutely some amazing properties. The YMCA particularly was really fantastic. Sorry?
I said all of them.
All of them were, but that's why we gave them a special award. And with that, thank you very much.
All right,
I just
Cliff?
want to say very quickly that thank you all for your support for the Hickory Commission, particularly during the years that I served as chair. As you know, and I'll say this real quickly, we added a lot of things. One of those, during those years, the Litter Quitter program that continues. And I want to mention that there is an opportunity for businesses to be a part of that as well. It's the one part that we haven't really engaged fully, but we are continuing to do that. And one of the great things is when Bruce and Todd Bird came on board, and we have got at least, I think we have 2 members, correct, that are from that group that works diligently all year long to help clean up the city. And last, I want to, and so that award, that has been great to add that award to this. Lastly, again, I want to thank Councilwoman Patton for being there, and hope that all of you will want to be there next year when you can. I know some of you had other things to be at that time, but we missed you if you weren't there, and we would love to have you be a part of that every year. Thank you.
Yeah. And on a personal note, you're exactly right concerning the Litter Quitter program and all that Todd and Bruce do. They head it up. It is it's phenomenal to see. There's probably not a day that goes by that those two aren't picking up litter somewhere in our community and helping and getting volunteers to help them on Saturdays. It's phenomenal what they do and the difference that it makes. So we appreciate everyone that's on the commission, and we thank you for your volunteer service as well. So thank you very much. All right, now we can get to persons requesting to be heard. At each council meeting, we allow anyone who would like to address the council the opportunity to be able to do so. We ask that you limit your conversation to 3 minutes and to City of Hickory business, that you approach the podium, and that you state your name and address for the record. It's not necessary to sign up to speak. However, those who sign up to speak, we usually take them in the order that they sign up. So we'll do that this evening, and then we'll allow an opportunity if anyone else would like to speak, perhaps that didn't know that we offered this opportunity. So I'll call on Lynn Dorfman, who would like to speak.
As the mayor said, my name is Lynn Dorfman. I live at 102 20th Avenue Northwest. I have 2 topics, but I'll be brief. One, of course, is my usual, road safety. And I want to thank Jared Marshall for sending me the road calming packet. I've been waiting until after the holidays to pursue additional traffic calming measures with my neighbors, though I continue to maintain the utter sensibility of enacting a citywide speed limit of 25 miles per hour in residential areas, especially where there are no sidewalks. But tonight I came specifically because of the agenda item on changing mayor-council elections to even-numbered years. At first glance, it's a terrible idea. Yes. And it lumps these critical local offices on an already long ballot. Now, I know turnout in municipal elections is woeful. And yes, this agenda item will address that, since more people will vote for municipal candidates with the intense focus of all the races on the ballot, the dozens of offices, state, local, federal, judicial, and school boards. People will have less bandwidth to pay attention to the city council races, races that significantly affect our quality of life. On second glance, it's still a bad idea, just like the bad idea to make school boards in this county partisan. And I expect it will have the same end result, more partisan divides in an already divided nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'll ask Mr. Michael McLam to the podium. And I didn't say it in the beginning, but we ask that you limit your conversation to 3 minutes or less.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is, Mayor, City Council, my name is Michael McLam. I live at 1135 13th Avenue Northeast in Hickory. I'm keenly interested in the presentation later in tonight's meeting on changing the city's election to even number years. I was surprised to see it on the agenda. I have received today a copy of a memo, which I believe you all have, titled Maintaining Nonpartisan Municipal Elections and Increasing Turnout Through Even Year Election Cycles. I am encouraged there's a desire to increase turnout and also to the expense taxpayers shoulder to administer elections. To the memo's content, I find it to be rather incomplete. It is not comprehensive, although I'm sure it is not the only information you have been provided. I support maintaining Hickory's nonpartisan election structure. I view it as a net positive for the city, its residents, and other stakeholders. However, I do not believe changing the election cycle to even years will be net positive. Running municipal elections on even years ties them closer to higher profile partisan races. Ballots are already long on even years, and there is significant drop-off for down ballot races regardless of the year and whether partisan or not. In 2028, North Carolina will have one of the longest ballots in the country. Eliminating odd-year elections will likely save costs, but the odd-year costs incurred are not material to current county or city budgets. Rather than changing when we elect local officials, I think there's more to gain by engaging more with the electorate. I'm open to change, but locally, I believe we have more to gain by working to engage the electorate to vote on odd years. Lumping 3 or 4 more races onto already long ballots is not going to fix the root of the turnout issue. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the council this evening? If you would, please step forward and state your name and address.
Good evening, Mayor Guest, council members, and City Manager Wood. My name is Vince Bartlemay. I live at 410 5th Street, Southeast in Hickory. I want to thank you for allowing me to be heard this evening, and I understand that there may not be a response. We've all been watching and reading the reporting about immigration and customs enforcement agents operating in major cities across the country over the last several months. The horrors we witness every day, and sometimes multiple times a day, have been overwhelming. Hickory citizens have not been immune to the ICE's presence in the city either. Yet the city of Hickory only put out a statement after they left. Further, a high-ranking city employee made the comment that the presence of ICE in Hickory was good for the economy. It's not. So given what we're seeing, particularly in Minneapolis right now, I certainly hope the city of Hickory and the police department has contingency plans to keep the citizens safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present in the audience that would like to address the council this evening? All right, there doesn't appear to be anyone else. At this time, we'll move forward with the rest of the agenda. Item number 6 on our agenda is approval of the minutes from our regular meeting of January 6, 2026. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. That motion carries unanimously. Item number 7 is reaffirmation ratification on second readings. Once again, I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. That also carries unanimously. Item number 8 is our consent agenda. I'll ask if there's any member of council or staff that would like to have any item removed from the consent agenda.
Move approval of the consent agenda. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the consent agenda? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign? That carries unanimously. All right, we have two public hearings this evening to introduce our first, departmental report. To introduce our first departmental report this evening, I'll call upon our city manager, Mr. Warren Wood.
Thank you, Mayor Guest, members of City Council, Mr. Swanson. The first departmental report tonight relates to recommended changes to the city's Code of Ordinances, and they both also relate to development. So if we can get that. Well, I'll just talk while it's coming up here. So the first one is related to Chapter 29, Article 3 of the City Code, developer responsibilities for repairing utility cuts. Steve Miller did a presentation, or part of a presentation a few meetings ago, and he talked about protecting the city's street infrastructure and what happens when water intrusion occurs, and that oftentimes happens related to utility cuts. So this first one will address that issue. So this is a video. This is on 17th Street Northwest. You're headed north towards ASU Hickory. So there's some development of some residential units on the right-hand side. And if that video will play, you can kind of get a sense of what this is going to deal with. So I think there's 8 or so utility cuts that go out in the road from where these residential units were put in. And historically, what you're seeing there would have been pretty much what would have been required to be done to fix the utility cuts by the developer or the builder. Well, under this code, that example would require resurfacing that whole stretch because the utility cuts and the patch that was put there is not going to be good enough and is not a best practice. So that's an example of what this will require moving forward related to utility cuts in the roadways.
That's an example of what you can't do.
You can do that, but you can't leave it like that. You're going to have to resurface the whole street.
You can't, okay.
Yeah. So that would require prior permits, warranties, inspection repairs, civil penalties. So those are the things that are being added to beef up Article 29 or Chapter 29, Article 3 of the City Code. And that was about the best example I could give of what used to be allowed and the difference between what will be allowed moving forward. Any questions on that one?
And they'll continue to be able to patch the curb and gutter, not replace the entire curb and gutter, right?
Well, in this case, they're going to be replacing the curb and gutter because they didn't do some of what they were supposed to do related to storm drainage, so they're going to have to go back and do it. But they would be required, if a patch is the appropriate repair, they'd be allowed to patch. Otherwise, they're going to be pouring new curb and gutter.
Okay, very good.
I'd like some clarification on, you said the entire street would need to be repaved, or are you just talking about the portion?
Just that stretch, just
The
that
stretch,
where you see the cuts.
Development is. Okay.
Yeah, not the whole street. So that just gives it a clean surface, and with water intrusion, it'll help protect to a higher degree than what we require today.
And who will make the determination whether the curb and gutter have to be, that would be made?
Steve Miller and his folks, the engineering department, so they've got a manual of practices that call for different treatments based on what the situation is.
What would the time frame allowed for them to do the repaving?
It would be defined in the permit.
Usually that would be around 3 weeks or so before you get that back.
And it also would be weather dependent, in fairness to the builder.
And the way I'm reading it, it's akin to a system development fee on our water and sewer, in that we're not passing the costs along to existing taxpayers for the new development.
Correct. I mean, we've just seen a level of development where in the past, this wouldn't be a big issue, but the degree to which we're seeing development today, we needed to put some protections in place to protect our infrastructure.
Very good. Thank you.
So that was, any other questions on that? The next one somewhat relates to this. So the The second change to the city code is Chapter 31, Article 1, developer responsibilities for installing taps on subdivided properties. So typically today, either the city will do taps or the builder will do taps. Like in these subdivisions, the builders are doing the taps. And when that happens, we don't charge a tap fee. When the city does the work, we charge a tap fee. But moving forward, again, it's a workload issue with the number of taps that we are doing. Anytime a builder is going to build 5 residential units or more, they would be required to hire a general contractor that is a licensed plumber to do the taps. And again, we wouldn't charge them the tap fee, but the burden would be on them to find the contractor that's qualified and has a proper license to do the taps. So just 5 or more would trigger that requirement. And again, that will help with workload. You may have gotten some calls about how long it's taken to get a tap done. This will help bring that time down. So those are the 2 changes to the city code that staff is recommending tonight.
All right, any further questions? Anybody? All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the proposed modifications and additions to the City of Hickory Code Ordinances, Chapter 29, Article 3, and 31, Article 1, that you've just heard described by our city manager.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? All right, that carries unanimously.
Okay.
Item number 2, the next departmental reports. Once again, I'll turn it over to our city manager, Mr. Warren Wood.
Thank you, Mayor Guest. So the second presentation tonight is on changing, or what that looks like if you were to choose to do it, the city's elections to even-numbered years. You're not voting on doing that tonight. And even if you did, city council can't change from odd years to even years. The legislature has to do that. So, and just to be clear, nobody on city council asked me to bring this presentation forward, and you may decide to move forward with the next step in looking at it or not. So that's what this is about this evening. So with even-year elections, there's a trend around the state. You're seeing more and more municipalities move to even-year elections, and it would be for a variety of reasons. What we're have seen in Hickory this past election, there was about a 15% turnout of registered voters. In November of 2023, that number was less than 4% turnout of registered voters. The cost of doing those elections is the same whether it's a high turnout or low turnout. So part of the reason a lot of cities are starting to move to even year is the turnout, to drive up turnout. In 2024, Catawba County's that election, that turnout was about 75%. In 2022, it was about 50%. So you are capturing more folks that are going to come out and vote during those statewide elections and the federal and state elections. So those are your numbers that you're seeing. And that's pretty customary, what we've been seeing for the last number of election cycles. So one of the things that we would see from that is obviously higher voter turnout, lower the taxpayer costs. You're deferring some cost or eliminating some cost and sharing cost with others to a greater degree, so that brings your cost down. A simplified voting calendar, I think a lot of times there's voter fatigue after these big, presidential elections and statewide elections, and you just see a drop off. So it would reduce some of the voter confusion about elections in the city. And one of the things that would happen for us since we sometimes do have a primary, those primaries would move to March in those even years. Right now, it's closer to the general election. Typically, when looking at the legislation of other cities that have moved to even year, almost all of them in the legislation, the sitting city council gets an extra year in order to get on the even year. The one example I saw that was not the case was Winston-Salem. They took away a year. But most every other one that I've seen added a year to get to on that even year cycle. There's been a number of other municipalities in the county that have expressed some level of interest in joining this. Would be asking for us, if you chose to move forward, if the legislature decided to do a county-wide even year, that would be their, decision to make. But I've been in contact with every manager in the county, just, hey, this is moving, if it moves forward, if you wanted to join on, you could, but we're not, obviously, that's their decision. But there have been some other municipalities that have expressed some interest in that. So here's some before and after. So Hendersonville, in November of 2019 was their last odd year election versus November 24, their first even year election. They had a 254% increase in voter turnout. Same with Lincolnton, and Winston-Salem was the highest I had seen in the list, and the before and after. They had a 514% voter turnout moving to even year elections. So I would recommend that you consider shifting municipal elections to even years. That's your decision to take the next step. It would, based on what we've seen in every other jurisdiction in the state, every other city that's done that, it has increased voter turnout. It's important that our elections remain nonpartisan. However, the resolution would reflect just the changes that if you wanted to make a change, so a resolution that would be presented to our delegation would focus on the even year, and everything else we have that remain the same. So with council support, if you do support it, we can present a resolution at your February 3rd city council meeting. You can see what that looks like, and you could consider voting on it or passing on it or amending it, whatever you wanted to do. But so we would bring that forward the first meeting in February, and that would be the document we would submit to our legislative delegation for them to submit a local bill that would do this. And there again, there may be, if it came to that, there may be other jurisdictions in the county that would want to join that. But we need to present that before April 21st due to some of the deadlines for local bills. So if you're interested in at least looking at what a resolution would look like and what it would contain related to that topic, we can bring that back at your next meeting and you can discuss it and decide what, if any, action you wanted to take on it.
What is the savings cost-wise? I believe I've heard anywhere from $45,000 to $50,000.
That's it. Yeah.
Thank you.
And when would that be realized? Immediately?
The cost saving, yeah. Well, once you moved, yeah. So the next election cycle, you would see. Now some of that depends on primaries and how many primaries and all that, but that's a typical number.
So the concern brought up has to do with the shift to partisan elections.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those municipalities that switched to the even years tied partisanship?
Some of them did. I know Lincolnton did, and I don't know if those cities asked to be shift to partisan or if the legislative delegation chose to do that. Hendersonville did not. There was a mix of some that did and some that didn't. I don't know the backstory on the ones that did or why that was the case. I don't know if the city asked for it. It could have been different answers to each one of those. But there were some that did and others that stayed the same.
So,
Winston-Salem didn't, and they got switched anyway.
Okay.
But there's not been a case where the voter participation did not increase.
We haven't seen.
And that's what
Yeah.
we want is voter participation.
And our numbers are not unique to us. I mean, it's just you have voter fatigue and people, for whatever reason, you just see low voter turnout in those odd number of years?
Well, there's been a lot of talk at the federal and state level about measures that can be taken to engage voters more. And, we've heard make a national holiday, Election Day a national holiday so people have the opportunity to vote, those types of things. And to me, this is a common sense way to make voting more accessible. Because most people, the turnout says it, that most people show up on the even years to vote. So I like the idea. Has the Board of Elections given opinion whatsoever?
I talked to Amanda Duncan, and she thought that would be a really good thing, and particularly if the whole county was on that even year cycle. It just makes it easier for them to manage. She didn't see any downside to it.
So if we went, excuse me, this way, but some of the other cities did not, then they would bear more of the financial burden paying for those costs?
Correct. If it was, let's say, if it was just Hickory that did it, we would see savings. Everybody else would see an increase because we're taking out of our money is taken out of that mix for that year's election.
Thank you.
And is that the reason why many of the other cities start kind of falling in line because of that?
Yeah, well, the voter turnout and the savings are the two big drivers. Yeah.
So you did mention that, would we stipulate that we want to keep it the same, though, in terms of nonpartisan?
Yeah, the only thing we would like to change would be moving to even years, and of course, that would include the March primary, and I would imagine adding a year to terms, but other than that, everything else would be requested to stay the same, or make no mention of it, just not even to bring it up, because once you put something in there, and a light bulb may go off, and you may get something you don't want. So just keeping it for the items that you do want to change.
Any other questions?
And we've touched base with some of our legislative delegation, and they were all supportive. And we found out that Hildebrand has already done this, in Burke County. They nonpartisan even year elections, and we said we want to do what Hildebrand did. But they were ahead of the curve on that. But it's not, you're not voting on doing that tonight. It's not my decision. Actually, you can't make the decision. You could eventually have a vote to take the next step to bring it to your legislative delegation. But if you want to see what a resolution would look like, we would need some action tonight directing me to come up with that, and then we can bring that forward. And if then you could pass on it. You could approve it, you could amend it, you could do whatever you wanted.
All right. Any other questions or concerns? I'll make a motion that we move forward as presented for our next council meeting to look at a resolution.
Second.
All right. We have a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? That carries unanimously. Thank you, sir. All right, next on the agenda is appointments to boards and commissions. I have two requests this evening. The first is to nominate Yahira Tescarena to our Business Development Committee, and also to nominate our Ward 4 representative, Ms. Jill Patton.
I'm 6.
I'm sorry, 6. Our Ward 6 representative to the Salt Block Foundation. So those are my two requests.
I'll second.
Do we have any others?
Oh, sorry.
I do.
Okay.
I have a nomination. I'd
Okay.
like to nominate Joseph James to the Community Appearance Commission.
Okay. Do we have any others? All right, now.
I'll make a nomination that we approve those.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? All right, that carries unanimously as well. Do we have any matters not on the agenda this evening, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, any general comments from our mayor, from our council or manager? Anybody?
Well, I'd like to say thank you for those who participated this past weekend for the Martin Luther King celebration. That was started at Lenore Ryan and ended at the Ridgeview Recreational Center. I want to say thank you to the mayor who stood in for me as I was the main keynote speaker there at Newton for the Catawba NAACP chamber chapter, excuse me, and the mayor of Newton certainly sends his hello.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And just to echo on that, I want to thank Lenore Ryan University and also our Hickory chapter of the NAACP for being sponsoring and being active and allowing us to use their facility, and also to the Hickory Police Department for making sure that everyone got there on the march safely. So it was a good event. It was a little bit chilly, but the terrific breakfast that Lenore Ryan had prepared for us before the march was helped that out a lot. So to everyone that participated in that, we appreciate it, and we thank you. Anybody else? Any general comments? Anybody? All right. At this time, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you for being here this evening.